welcome back, you beautiful souls. It's Monday morning. We are live right now and we're about to dive into a conversation with absolute gem. Now, when we were last graced by the presence of Miss SA 2019 Sasha Laurel in the Expresso studio, she was reflecting on the impending closure of her reign and what the future could behold. Now, she has since handed the crown over and is proving that we have much more to see from upstanding role models like herself, and we are here to firstly welcome her to our studio. Let's give her a big round of applause to Sasha Laurel. Oh, it's so good having you live in the flesh, in the presence. I can feel the magic oozing off of you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, and great to finally meet you guys.
Yes, you know what, you follow people on social media, but you finally get to connect when it's an interview on Expresso, which is always great.
Is this like a fangirl moment? Can I say that?
You having a fangirl moment.
Yes.
I'm also having that moment with you guys, so it's okay. We had an equilibrium.
All my life, I've been a big fan of the Miss South Africa pageants. I've watched it year after year, but I wanted to know from you, what was it like? Because this was quite a unique one that has just gone past, where you had to hand over your crown. It was during the pandemic, but at least the show still went on. What was it like for you to be part of that?
Wow, I think it was, you just learned the power of surrender. You know, it was one of those moments where I had to take like a great step back, but in that, South Africa took this great leap forward because we saw the power of, you know, leadership without a title. So many active citizens on the ground, you know, making the changes that we wanted to see. So I think it was one of those moments where, as much as I would have loved to be on the ground, because I feel like I get recharged by people, you know, it was one of those moments where we had to be agile and we had to adapt. So it was very much digitally orientated, but we had to adapt. Yeah.
And in such a crazy world that's ever changing, I love how you say that we kind of need to just surrender yourself to the certain things we can't control and what we can. And one of the things that I'm so curious to see is now seeing the perspective of pre, during and post your reign. I mean, obviously life has just been like this massive roller coaster. What has it been like, obviously, during your reign and now post the reign, just your everyday life? Has there been a dramatic change, or has it kind of set you up for what every day is now for you?
Yeah, I think, you know, every day kind of relies on you and what your command is for the day. So I think it's important for us to realize the power we have over our lives, regardless of the changes that will inevitably come. I think it's been, the one thing that has remained the same though is I still do Zoom from like up here, like everyone else. I still,
you got the pajama pants on?
Keep it casual.
I still keep it casual at the bottom, but I think,
it's called
you know,
efficiency, that's what it is.
You know, you just...
You have to roll with the times.
You have to roll with the times. So that's still very much there. But I think now it's very much on all hands on deck. We can be more involved. We can get more involved with what we are doing next. You know, it's just so important that I can now actually be on the ground. It was something that I was lacking, obviously, during my reign, and I'm just so happy to just be here now.
Well, let's speak about that because, you know, part of the Miss South Africa umbrella, there's this different platform where you work on different causes. What is it like now that you finally get to be on the ground, you get to work on causes close to your heart? What's that like been for you?
I love agency. I love doing things on my own terms. And as much as I can appreciate what being Miss South Africa was like and having that, you know, arsenal of individuals, because it was a team, you know, it was a machine. There were systems in place. But I think one of the things with me is that it's a blessing and a curse. I'm pretty impulsive. Okay. So I think it was 3 days before Valentine's. I was like, you know what? Actually, let's do something for the frontline workers, because it's Valentine's Day. Let's show love. You know, it's 3 days before. We can do this, South Africa, like, you know, just Instagram. And one of those things I would have never been able to do in Miss South Africa because there would have been a process, but I can do that online. And I mean, hey, I had 50 Valentines, you know, 50 frontline workers. That's pretty normal.
That's very special.
Now, look, speaking of these incredible causes, and I mean, you've definitely lent your voice to so many causes. I mean, talking about anti-GBV, we're talking about body positivity. You've been at the forefront and using your gifts for such a beautiful cause. Where to next? I mean, you just mentioned this one as well. Where else can we potentially see your beautiful, that Sasha energy in the rest of the world? What do you got planned for the upcoming months?
Well, I think I'm more at home when I'm teacher Sasha Lee. that is the best title I've ever had. You know, my kids, they love me. They don't say it on Mondays, though.
No.
Like, I don't see it in their faces on Mondays when they, you know, trying to get into class. But they really do. And I think that, you know, as you mentioned, being, you know, one of those faces for so many causes, or voice for so many causes, rather, I think there's solidarity when it comes to issues like this that we as adults face. It's so important we can get through those things through solidarity. But kids, like kids need superheroes. So you need those people to look up to. You need those people to champion them and their causes and the injustices they're facing. So I think it's more child protection that I'm going into, and I think that that would be where I'm more at home.
I think it's such a just cause, and I got to comment on this, especially in the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Those are full-time jobs on their own. Now having a full-time job in a world that is just chaotically all over the show, announcements come in every week, you don't know what to do. I implore that and encourage that because I think you're investing in our absolute future, which is just great. So thank you for that. I love that.
I know. And, you know, I actually just wanted to ask you as teacher Sasha, former Miss SA, we're wrapping up Youth Month this week. And is there a special message you would love to leave the youth with, especially when you are focusing on their safety, if that's something that's close to your heart?
You know, it's never too late to be who you want to be. And I think, you know, I say this, it's one of the most, it was one of the most impactful words I've ever heard. You are the oldest you've ever been. And sometimes, you know, we use today's wisdom to kind of reflect on what we've done in the past. And it's just important to understand that we only know what we know today, and we can't really, you know, be so hard on ourselves. Yeah.
I love that. Well, Sasha, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, we will be chatting to her a little bit later, but do follow her on social media. It is at Sasha Laurel. You want to keep up with her, you want to support her, and she's not going anywhere. She's still going to hang out with us on your Feel Good Breakfast show.